So let's get into it. Today we're going to be installing a Scottoiler on a 2014 Ducati Multistrada right here. We're going to do this in two parts. We're going to install the Scottoiler and the vacuum line first, and then we're going to go ahead and do the oil feed line down to the bottom. And it's going to be a little bit tricky for us because we're going to try to be doing a dual feed line onto this, even though it says it's technically not supported. So let's get started here and just take off the fairing first. We'll take the seat off real quick. Should make things easier to get to. We don't lose that clip, and our fairing's off. Alright, so now we're going to check out our vacuum line placement. We have a California compliant bike, so we already have an evap canister on here. So we're going to check this out here. So here into our throttle body we have this line right here, and this is, here we can see kind of where that is on the bike. We're going to come in right here, and this is our tap for our vacuum line. And if you have a CA compliant bike, it's already going to have a tube here, and you're going to have another one right here. So here we can see we have two of them and a little T connector right here. This thing tees off and it comes over to our other side. So here, if you don't have the CA compliant bike, what you're going to do is you're going to have to put in your little brass spigot here, and that's where you're going to run your vacuum line from. Alright, so compared to the other side, we saw the other side where those vacuum lines are coming off and where we have the T connector. So where that T connector winds up going to is right here. We have this line into this top of our evap box, and that's where I chose to tap in. So what you do here is you're going to cut this line with some of these bad boys. Whoop. You know, it's pretty straightforward. And you're going to slide your little T connector on there. That's where the rubber thing goes too. And then we're going to route this. Where I chose to route this is going to be up and back. We come through the back here, comes across. Here we can see just the edge of the line is up in there. And then we route it through the same box that it routes everything else through. And we come. And this is where we attach the actual Scottoiler. So here we can see we have our mount, we have our vacuum line in place, we have our filler in place, and here's our fill tube right here. Because once we have the fairing in place, it's not going to be super easy to get to the top of this here. So that's the first part. Alright, so we're back and we're going to do the oil line now. Well, we already figured it out, but we're going to show you how I did it now. So what we wound up doing here is to get this to work. We didn't really have a place to zip tie this on like the instructions tell you to. So what I wound up doing was taking the metal bracket here. I took this bolt out here. So underneath we have a 4mm right here. So we took that out, and what we wound up doing is we took our regular mount from the standard kit, which looks a little like this but the big version. And what I wound up doing was I hammered this flat. And I hammered this piece flat, and then I safety wired the standard mount to that, and that seems really darn secure actually. That doesn't want to move at all. So it's in a good spot. So I did that and I bent it a little bit so that this wasn't rubbing or touching the swing arm at all. And then we installed it like you would typically, the dual nozzle here. And the spacers, we can see we have a little bit of trim on this side, or a lot of it rather. From there, here's our line. We ran it under. This is where we put our first clip, and that's where we transfer to our clear pipe. We keep coming along the bottom of the swing arm here. Here's where I placed my second clip. So this is actually where the sticker goes for the what the chain tension's supposed to be. I've worn this off with my heel because that's where my heel winds up coming in contact with. I did some fitment tests and made sure that this is tucked away far enough in here where I'm not going to hit it with my foot. We come up. We don't have to worry too much about super extra slack here because right now we're on our center stand, so our wheel's going to be at full travel. So if anything, once we get on the bike, this is going to probably bow just a tiny bit that way as it gets some slack in it when we compress the suspension here. So this is, we don't need to add any extra length in here. My third and last clip I put on, I actually put on the back here of the passenger bracket. So we can see there's the bracket right there. And then it comes up and it feeds right into our Scottoiler system. So at this point, we're all installed. We have our vacuum line coming up here into our top. We got our remote fill line here that's coming out right there. And we have our oil outline that's going to come travel down here, go down the swing arm, and then into our dual dispenser. And that should be about it. So now we're just going to fill it, prime it, adjust it to the appropriate level, and that should be it.